question number one. I have been feeding homemade raw to 2 dogs for over 14 years. They are both super healthy at 15 and 15 and a half. They have never eaten fruit or vegetable. Meat, bone, and wide variety of organ meat is all they eat. Also consider the high pesticide residue in vegetables and fruits, and that modern fruit is super high in sugar. Yeah, thanks for your comment. I mean, yeah, if you do the 80-10-10, if you follow the whole prey ratios, yes, that's a pretty good diet. I mean, homemaking your own dog food can be expensive, and that's something I always tell people. I always tell people that it can be a bit more expensive than buying it in. But at the same time, the price of raw dog food, especially here in the UK, has skyrocketed of everything pretty much in the past couple of years. So yes, meat, bone, and a wide variety of organ meat. Yeah, that's good. Bit of bone, wonderful. What I do see though is that with raw dog food, there are two pretty distinctive camps. And for a bit of context, we run a small chain of independent pet shops, and we are huge advocates of raw dog food. And my dog started eating raw dog food when I set up the business, and I saw the change straight away for the better, and he was much better off straight away, and he started consuming vegetables. As I got more into it, I weaned him off the vegetables, and now he's only been eating meat for a few years now, and he only ever eats meat, and the odd treat with like a tiny bit of sweet potato or a tiny bit of whatever. But his main diet only comprises of just meat, basically. 80% meat, 10% offal, and 10% bone, and that is it. There's no vegetables. There's no nothing. But we see raw fed dogs who eat vegetables, and those dogs are very, very healthy, and those dogs look incredible, and those dogs are doing incredibly well. So I can't really decide. I want to say that no vegetables is better, but I haven't seen the evidence for that. So yeah, high pesticide residue in vegetables and fruits. Yeah, but we don't live in a perfect world, do we? If we did, it wouldn't be planet Earth. It'd be something else. It'd be some sort of utopia. And modern fruit is super high in sugar. There's a very big misnomer there, and not all sugar is the same. We have refined sugars and we have unrefined sugars. We have monosaccharides and we have polysaccharides. We have fructose and we have straight white cane sugar, for example, or just white sugar or brown sugar or whatever. And those are different. Those are very, very different. You cannot tell me that a Pop-Tart and a pear or any sort of vegetables release the same sugar. It isn't the same sugar. One is refined, one is unrefined. Fruits and vegetables are far healthier for you than a Mars bar or refined sugar. So I don't agree on the sugar. On anything else, on everything else, yeah, pretty cool. Thanks so much for the comment. I beg to differ on the true cost of raw dog food. I have been homemaking raw for a very, very long time. Agree on the fancy pictures. Don't fall for those. This is regarding the FDA investigation or collusion, alleged collusion of certain vets for the DCM instilled. I can't really explain myself at the moment. Sorry. the FDA came out with an article, and that study suggested that high volumes of legumes in dog food were correlated with dilated cardiomyopathy, a form of heart disease. And I made a video about that, and it's been very, very popular. And at the moment, Hills are getting sued. So that is where we stand on that issue. And so what this lady says is that everything within the article is hearsay unless there's an extensive other studies completed. That's the way FDA would review it anyway. Everything within the article is hearsay. Well, it's an official lawsuit, and they will have put their evidence forward. You do have to present a case in court, otherwise you don't have a case and you don't have a court case, and there's no justice, I suppose. So yes, that's the way the FDA would review it anyway. They have been presented with some information with a lawsuit, and just see what happens, basically. Another commenter says that Keto Natural company, which is the company suing Hills, was just created within the last 6 years. It's a nobody to begin with, and the Hills' grains issue literally had no effect on this company. To be honest, I'm not sure how they're in business to begin with. You never hear anything about them. They are just trying to stay afloat. Yeah, I suppose like anyone else, really. You are right in the sense that it's going to be very, very hard to prove one way or another. And if you haven't watched that video, I encourage you to watch it first before we go any further. But yes, it is going to be very hard to prove correlation or causation between grains or no grains and DCMs and no DCMs. Very, very hard. With regards to the Keto Natural company being a nobody to begin with, yeah, I mean, even if you make 10, 20, 30 million dollars in the pet food industry, you are minuscule. You are tiny. You're a very, very tiny company. So all of these companies are very, very tiny. They're very, very small. Aside from the big three, if you are a member of the big three, you will be, you'll be incredible. You'll be absolutely flying. I have seen a stat this morning, and I don't know whether I can pull it up. Yes. So Purina Pet Care sales hit $21.7 billion in 2023. By product category, Purina Pet Care was the largest contributor to Nestlé's organic growth, with strong momentum across all channels. That's $21.7 billion in 2023. That's how much money, that's how much jack these people make. That's how much money they rake in. So for anyone else to make a dent into the pet food industry, it's a miracle, basically. So this Keto Natural company can just be the one exception to the rule. These companies with better products, with better ingredients, with better recipes, have been making a dent in the big three's market share of the pet food industry, and that's why they are allegedly trying to retaliate, and that's where we are, really. Thank you for the question. Or the comment. Another comment says, I don't feed Hills, I never will, but I had a laugh with this. Yeah. I mean, the Hills situation is absolutely, it's a case study. It's absolutely a case study. So, prescription diet from Hills, the nomenclature, the name prescription diet, prescription is a trademark. It's all it is a trademark, and they have different trademarks for different countries, and so they are the only ones allowed to trademark or to name their products prescription, and so whenever you tell people that they need to be on a prescription diet, that's what that means. The consumer The consumer sees it otherwise, and they feel they are being prescribed something, and there's a lot of power in that. And so whenever people come to us and they say, oh, my vet has prescribed me some dog food, it's quite hard to untangle that consumer's mentality. Here in the UK, lots of Hills's products aren't suitable at all for any diseases they say they prevent or try to mitigate. They have a cancer product. They have products for diabetes with so many carbohydrates. It's unbelievable. They have skincare or skin conditions or skin allergies products filled with animal fats or like poultry fats and things that are very, very vague, and ultimately we won't really know what's going into our dog. So how can we mitigate something when we don't really know what we are giving the dog? When allergies are predominantly nutrition, they stem from nutrition, bad nutrition, and that's about 95% of all conversations we have in our branches and consultations. So yeah, great info, especially for cats. They do not need carbs at all. Their short digestive system means even more problems with glucose and insulin. I agree. So the cat food situation is, I don't even know where to start, and why no one seems to care. Why no one seems to try to make a dent in the thinking of the mass consumer. The mass consumer tends to go to supermarkets or big box retailers and buy the cheapest stuff with a cute cat on, and for that cat food to be filled with sugar and to be filled with cereals and meat and animal derivatives, and it's a thing of madness, basically. Because with dog food you can sort of like make the argument that they could potentially be omnivores, or they could potentially eat this or digest that or whatever. But with cats are obligate carnivores, and so whenever I see cat foods with sugar, with glucose, with dextrose, with cereals, with barley, with wheat, with rice, I just can't believe it. And I can't believe why people keep buying these foods. It's incumbent upon us to sort of like spread the word and like and subscribe, and so that we can reach more people. That would very, very much help. So thank you so much. Anyway, so Purina making pets sick. I made a video, right? And the video was aimed at people who had been not labeling but blaming Purina for their pets getting sick or dying. Purina so far, and a dozen other brands, haven't yet pulled any products from the market. There has been no recalls that I know of right now, up to today. Maybe there'll be some tomorrow. I don't know. So my argument and my video says two premises. There's two very distinctive premises. One, nobody in the right mind, knowing what we know about pet nutrition, should feed Purina products. They are very, very carb heavy. They are extremely vague when it comes to certain ingredients, and again, in cat foods, they're completely inadequate. They're just not good. They're not good at all. So why feed them, right, in the first place? But second of all, Purina is one of the biggest companies in the pet food industry, and it isn't run by idiots. These companies are run like clockwork. They turn over billions and billions of dollars every single year. They have sales representatives, they have labs, they have testing equipment, testing facilities, they have staff, vets, they have production plants, they have access to the best equipment in the whole world whenever it comes to testing and researching and R&D and all these things. And if they haven't recalled any of their products up to today, why are people buying into the conspiracy that they are purposely making pets sick? If I'm sure that if a company, and there have been many recalls in the past, we saw the excess vitamin D toxicity in pet food. A lot of the minerals were off balance and the products got recalled, and that's what happened. These companies put their hands up and say, hey, we're very sorry, we've done this, I'm going to recall some products, they're just not very good. Because if they don't do that, like a wave of lawsuits will be waiting to hit them. And it doesn't make sense for Purina to do it purposely. And so this lady here says, I did take my dog to the vet. They didn't give me any indication of what happened to my dog. They didn't even seem to care why she was vomiting so much blood and had bloody stools. Just treated her and sent her home that day. I should have been told to report the batch of pet food to the USDA and to the company out for an abundance of caution. We are not going on to social media and just making things up or just complaining. We are coming on here to find answers. I didn't even know all the pet owners were experiencing the same problems and what a possible cause was. People like you, as in me, make it even more difficult for us to find the truth and warn others. Shameful. Thanks so much for the comment. Great. Well, I mean, if I think there's something wrong with my dog, I generally just take it to the vet, which was another point I made in the video. Take your pet to the vet and see what they say. And this lady took her dog to the vet and they didn't even seem to care why she was vomiting. I'm really sorry, but I've been to the vet, and if I don't understand something or the vet is trying to do something I don't agree with, knowing so much about dog food and pet food in general and pet health in general, I probe and ask and ponder and have a two-way conversation with the vet. And if I don't really like what the vet is saying, and this has happened in the past, I try to go and look for another vet. And if that other vet seems to agree with the first vet, then I might have things wrong. I don't know. But for you to say that they just treated her and sent her home that day and they didn't even seem to care, well, just find a vet who will care. I do agree that the veterinary industry sometimes can be very aloof. They can be quite nonchalant about things. Just like your GP, like here in the UK, you'll show up with a problem and they're like, oh, okay. You're very concerned. They don't seem that concerned. And there might be cause or a reason why they aren't concerned. Maybe because the problem isn't all that bad. Maybe because what you think and what they think about things are two different things. And that's probably why there's a dichotomy there between you two. But having said that, if I am really concerned about my dog and my vet tells me something I don't like or they don't seem bothered, I would pull them up on that and I would be like, hey, what's going on here? Give me an explanation right now. Could it be the food? Can I send you the food? Can I send you a sample of the food? Can you have this food tested? Can you do this? Can you do that for me? At the end of the day, you are in charge, not the vet. Who's the customer? You are the customer. Who needs care and support? You, not the vet. So, we are coming here to find answers. Yeah, well, that's great. But there haven't been any answers. There haven't been any recalls yet. I don't like Purina, and I'm defending them. So that's where I stand, Anyway, Acana and Champion Pet Foods. I'm so disappointed with what Champion has done to Acana. Champion Pet Foods out of Canada owns Acana and Origin, the two companies, the two pet foods that pioneered somehow the whole prey ratios, that you should feed your dog organ and tendons and bone and liver and heart and all those tidbits, and they used to put them in the pet food, and they were wonderful, and they are wonderful. And they got acquired by Mars, blah blah blah. You've heard the story. If you haven't heard the story, there's a few videos on the channel. Go back and watch them. Anyway, I just found out about this, and I've been feeding my dog a kind of red meat recipe for years. Man, I'm not happy. I would consider switching to Origin. However, I am not sure I trust Mars not to do with the same with Origin. Let's wait and see, my friend. Let's wait and see. We cannot do anything else but wait and see. As I have said on many occasions before, it doesn't make sense for a revolutionizing, if you want to call it that, product, something that's really making a dent in some other portfolio of companies, something that's really, really taken shape and ground and is very popular, and for you to come in and change the recipe. It doesn't make sense. Origin is Origin because of the ingredients. Origin is Origin because I think that the first 10 ingredients are meat. That's unprecedented in pet food. And so it doesn't make sense for Mars or for Champion Pet Foods to change the recipe. The recipe should not change because that is a wonderful dog food. So if they change the recipe and sales go down, they only have themselves to blame. So, yeah. Anyway, back to the Purina thing. The sad thing is that most veterinarians never got the FDA update stating there is no proof that no-grain foods cause heart issues. By the way, it was not a proper full study. Just ask yourself, why do dogs need grains? They don't. And the high carbs along with the high heat over processing of kibble is killing our pets. Thank you so much. I think it's Lisa. Thank you so much for the question anyway. It wasn't that vets didn't get the memo or they didn't get the FDA update. Is that vets have a lot to do on a daily basis, and they might hear something, or they might, they just recommend things by default sometimes, some of them, not all of them. And that is that. It's not that they didn't get the FDA update. Anyway, just ask yourself, why do dogs need grains? You are very, very right. They do not need grains. They don't need wheat, barley, corn, oats. They don't need rice. They don't need all these things. And the high carbs, along with the high heat over processing of kibble, is killing our pets. I don't think kibble kills pets. I just think it makes them survive. They survive. They tend to be like happy because dogs are happy creatures and they're happy companions. And then, as I tell people, there are kibbles and there are kibbles. There are different leagues whenever it comes to pet food. So there are kibbles that, in my opinion, are horrendous for pets. They are incredibly damaging, in my opinion. And there are some kibbles that I look at them and I'm like, wow, this is really good. The ingredients are really good. Is it processed? Yes. Is it over processed? Maybe. However, this is a very, very good product. We have, look no further when in terms of like, maybe not kibble, but you have freeze-dried dog food. Very expensive here in the UK, but a phenomenal product. We have jerky-like treats. Okay, they're not kibble, but they are very, very high in meat. Wonderfully made. Really, really nice. So, yeah. Okay. Dogs don't need grains. Dogs make their own blood sugar from protein and fat in a process called gluconeogenesis. I am forever going to remember that, and I'm going to forever tell you guys that, because they do not need carbohydrates. They make their own energy. Anyway, Champion Pet Foods is mistaken. I would gladly pay more for Acana if they stay true to the original formula. I will reserve judgment on origin, but what do you think of another brand? I'm sorry, I don't really have the other brand with me. Champion is mistaken. Listen, at the end of the day, with Acana and Origin and how popular they have been moving forward, it's going to come down to numbers and sales. If sales go down, they will be forced to reverse certain decisions, in my opinion. If sales go up, they'll be emboldened and they will be asking themselves, why do I care about the 3 people complaining if there's 300 more people buying? It doesn't really make sense. The churn ratio will be minimal for them. Is Champion Pet Foods mistaken? I don't know. No one knows. The ones with all the information is them. They know sales figures, they know gross margins, they know net profits, and they know all the figures. And so, again, Mars Pet Care and idiots. So I don't think they make decisions that aim to hurt a brand. But we'll see. Thanks for the question. Anyway, we move on to XL Bullies. So XL Bullies, and please, if you are still here, please subscribe and please like. It really, really does help the channel. Thank you. XL Bullies and American XL Bullies are being phased out, discontinued, banned in the UK. And so there is a big debate in the UK about dangerous dog breeds. There's many attacks in the UK at the moment by XL Bullies. There have been. So that breed has been outlawed and now is the American XL Bully. So this is the way of things at the moment. And every day you will see newspapers and tabloids denouncing the latest incident with an XL Bully. So this refers to that. I personally think all people should have to have a license, and they should have to come online, offline courses to say they understand the care and correct way to train a dog before you are allowed to get a dog. It's far too easy for people to go buy a puppy and then have no idea of what to do. So it ends up getting trained incorrectly or trained with abuse. Thank you for the question. You are extremely thoughtful. You are extremely kind. And you are right. Everything you say is correct. Everything you say is right. But what you have said is mainly useless, in my own opinion. Sadly, useless. And I'll tell you why. We see puppies, we see people come into our branches every single day. The puppies aren't microchipped. The puppies look scruffy. The people look scruffy. You see back alley breeders, you see people who couldn't give a toss about dogs and puppies and puppy farms, and people who know nothing about puppies and breeds and nutrition, and they don't know anything about anything, yet they breed and sell puppies. And this happens every single day, and people walk into our shops and ask for advice every single day. And every single day we have cases where our hearts are broken because a lot of these people haven't got a clue, and they do it for the wrong reasons. And you have the right and the heart, the head and the heart rather, in the right place. And yes, absolutely, you should understand the breed. You should breed a dog the right way. You shouldn't take advantage of a dog or of another person. But that happens all the time, and it's going to carry on happening. And it's so sad because I'm friends with like some breeders I know, and the length of lineage and diligence and research they put into breeding the right dog, and choosing the right lines, and getting the right checks, and the right vets, and the right this and the right that, and the best food and the best care and the best of everything. It's unbelievable. And they will not breed perfectly fine dogs because it's not up to their standard. It's that high, their standard. But they are sadly not the norm. They are the exception. And I wish we could change it. And I hope at some point we can change it. Because the right way to think about things when you want to push for change is to be idealistic, is to be a bit of a dreamer, is to be a bit happy trippy. But yes, I would love nothing more than to see breeders get a license, and for people to really understand what they are getting into. And that's something that sadly doesn't happen very often, or often at all. And people just breed puppies left, right and center, make a quick profit, and off they go again, and they rinse and repeat and rinse and repeat. Once, twice, 3 times, 5 times a year, it doesn't really matter to these people. And these people come into our branches every single day, and every single day we try to shift the psyche, but there's no moving them off of their high horse. So if you have any suggestions when it comes to like breeding and breeders and how to tackle the issue, I would be more than happy for you to do so, and for you to tell me what I am missing or what could be done, because I'm all for it. I'm all for change. I would love nothing more. Thank you so much for the question. I'll see you in the next one.